I don't think I do it.
But Arsenal started like house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it is time for Late Night Leeds. That's what we're calling it.
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
I'm not.
Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. And listen, I'm sorry for being late, right? I am sorry for being late, but hardest, self-proclaimed hardest working man in the YouTube game, just clocked off at work at 10:15. Went downstairs, made a brew, and then came and joined you. So cut me some slack, yeah? How do, Animally? I haven't seen you for a long, long time. I hope you're doing well. Marcus May says, I'm hanging out of my arse, but I'm here. Good, good, good.
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
I'm not.
Don't go anywhere.
If you haven't seen that video, then you need to watch that video. Can you not see me with the bike? You hit my head against the car. You're not seeing that. Yeah, did somebody say, hey, Just Joe eat? That needs work, doesn't it? That definitely needs work. Yeah, so smash a like on the video for me then, eh? There's 66 likes currently. If you haven't already, smash a like on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel as well. Listen, we're on 19,684, which, if my maths are correct, that is 316 people away from that magic 20K. Yeah, you hit the car with my head, man.
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
I'm not.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm sorry, man. Oh, man.
So we don't have the capacity. So we don't have the capacity.
That was last week, man, with Paddy Bamford, man. That was Paddy Bamford's when he stepped up for that penalty, man.
So we don't have the capacity.
We definitely didn't have the capacity. But we move on, right? Don't we? We move on. The quick maths, man. Quick maths. You know the score. Yeah, work from home, bro. Sometimes work in the office. It is what it is, right? Let's get into it anyway. What's that? Offshore sounds funny. What? This one.
So we don't have the capacity.
Anyway, forget it, man. Right, okay, so let's get straight into it then. Big Sam's been chatting, my guy, Big Sam Allardyce. Talking about climate change, talking about social media, the future. He fears for his grandparents, talking a load of bollocks, talking all sorts today. There was loads in there, right? So listen, he was asked first and foremost, you got a draw against Newcastle. What did that do for you? Where are the team at? And he said, look, we drew that game due to 3 disappointments, yeah? We stopped ourselves getting 3 points, didn't he? He said we stopped ourselves getting 3 points. We gave 2 penalties away and we missed one ourselves. Just on the penalties as well, like obviously he was speaking about, you know, him saying I asked them to stay on the feet and then they go to ground. Firpo had a nightmare. And I was actually listening to Game Day podcast previewing the weekend. And they were talking on there, and Sam Matterface was saying that he spoke to Big Sam after the game. And he actually said, you know, I spoke to Big Sam at length, and he kept saying, I told them all week, stay on your feet. And I just don't understand why they didn't stay on the feet. So he clearly was getting into them big time. And the fact that they then gave 2 penalties away, you must think, well, what's the point? Like, what am I doing here? What is the actual point? You know what I mean? You can't blame a guy. You know, it's like, you know, asking your partner, your kids or whatever, you know, do this, do that. And then, like, why do I bother? You know what I mean? That's what I'd have felt like, and I hope that he got right stuck into them this week. And I don't think we'll see Firpo again. Maybe not. I don't know if it was a straight red. I'm still not sure. I know Graham Smith said he believed it was a straight red because he didn't see 2 yellows. Did anyone actually get that confirmed? Because I know I didn't. I still don't know to this day. But he said, look, yeah, 2 pens given away and we miss one ourselves. He did say, though, right, and this is a positive, like he did say we did limit a team that are 3rd in the league. And if you think about it, outside of the penalties, what did they have? What opportunities at goal did Newcastle have? They were non-existent. So we have to take positives from the fact that we did limit a team that are 3rd in the league to nothing, who've just spanked Brighton the other day, and of course are going to confirm Champions League football on Monday when they relegate Leicester. That's going to happen. So he said after the day, the day after, it was hard to take, knowing that we'd thrown away 3 points, because that's what we did. And he said, look, I believe that had we have won that game, I'd have been 65% sure of us staying up, because he actually said I'd have then gone to West Ham and I'd have been happy with the point. Because you get 3 points against Newcastle, get a point away, and then you win your last home game. That's what he's looking at, the home games. And he said, look, a point against West Ham would have been great, but not now. We need to win. We must cut out errors, because if you don't cut out errors, you will be punished in this league. We know that anyway, right? This league is unforgiving. It's the it's the toughest league in the world. And if you're not on it, then you'll see. Mike Lazio says, being here laughing at you, Brits. Listen, Mike Lazio, I hope you realise that your man, Jesse Marsch, is about to get appointed USA men's national team head coach. Come back to me there. Come back to me once he's played. If you actually look at the links, you should see all the Americans in the comments saying, no, no, no. So let's wait and see. And I believe there's a friendly soon between Uruguay and USA. So let's hope. And then I'll be doing a watch along for that game. Don't worry about that one. We'll be staying up to the AM watching that one. Big up to my man Bielsa. So the next question came at him. So you're going there to look to try and win? Because if games go against you Saturday, you may have to win. Because this is the facts, yeah? If Everton beat Wolves and Forest beat Arsenal, then we have to win. Otherwise, we are relegated. That's the thing. Remember, you can follow it all on the Just Joe Football Show from tomorrow, 3 o'clock. We've got Wolves Everton. Please, Wolverhampton Wanderers. How hungry like the wolf. If you don't know that tune, you need to get to know. I love that tune. I actually like Duran Duran. I really like Duran Duran. Hungry like the wolf. No Better Jay says, yeah, they'll stop giving us once they're subjected to his football. 100%. I can't wait, mate. I can't wait for them American tears, man. America. I cannot wait. Because I will be there. I will be there. Yeah? Oh, my... What? You think you can stand up to Uruguay? Really? Let's wait and see then, mate. Let's wait and see. Valverde will just smoke all of you. Let's wait and see. They've got some top players, and you'll get smoked. Jesse will get put in a spliff, and we can just put this argument to bed once and for all. Wow, boys! Wow, boys! You tell them, Brian. So, yeah, look, you go in there looking to try and win, because if results go against us on Saturday, you may have to win. And then he was asked, can the players deal with that pressure? And he said, we have to deal with it no matter what. No matter what. We have to deal with it. Because, no matter what goes on Saturday, we still need to deliver 3 points at West Ham. We need to get 3 points. Listen, the positive that we have is the fact that, come on, West Ham are probably still on the piss. Declan Rice is still out there. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to win. And he said, look, it is a big question. Can they handle the occasion? They did last week. He said this to them. They did last week, apart from the silly errors. They did handle it. They did handle the fact that, there was a lot of pressure on that game. And we also went 2-1 down. We came back. We came back and got a point, which I didn't think we were going to do at the time. So fair play to the lads. And he said, look, I'm pleased with the reaction since we came in the door. You know, you've just to look at the Newcastle result. They go and beat Brighton 4-1. And he even mentioned that City Madrid result. We know City was flying. We're flying, weren't they? No, Mark, I've not seen that. Someone is using your website, Joe, saying there 2 Spurs tickets to go to London. Have you seen it on Facebook? No. What do you mean, my website? I don't have a website. I hope they're not. What do you mean? Someone's saying what? They have tickets? They better not be. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the way that City absolutely pulverised Madrid and we only lost 2-1, right? He says, look, it shows some great indicators for me that performances are going in the right direction. But the unfortunate thing for us as Leeds fans is that Big Sam hasn't been here long enough and games are running out. So he said himself, we need to get points. And we need to get our first clean sheet. And I'm going to back that. You know, I think we're going to win this game 2-1. But he said we need to get our first clean sheet. He was then asked about the abuse for Pat. Obviously, Patrick Bamford received dog's abuse, his wife, his kids, his family. It's just insane, really. I put a little short up earlier, actually. Joe just like getting, hitting the nail on the head when it came to the Patrick abuse. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, abuse for Pat. So, how's Pat reacted, etc. And he said, look, from what I've seen, his mindset is okay, but he's very, very upset. Again, I'll say to the Leeds fans that were doing this, why? Because look, you've got a player now who's very, very upset, probably don't want to be here, all this sort of stuff. It just didn't help the occasion. Just didn't help him or the football team. I still now question what people got out of it. Even putting together the compilation was bad enough, but to then go and give him dog's abuse like that, I just don't understand what they're hoping to get out of it. But he did say, look, it's left a very bad taste and I would like the police to do more. But with social media, apparently you can do what you want. Hence why the world is in this state. He went all philosophical, but I don't even think he's that wrong. You know, social media is the devil. It is good for so many things, but also bad for so many things. You don't want to get me started on that. You know, as a content creator, you receive a tiny micronism. Small. I'll just say small. A bit of abuse, of course. So I can't imagine on a bigger scale what that could do to someone's psyche. So yeah, that's the evil side of social media, and I do go along with the thought process of making people sign up with ID, etc. But then if that happens again, it's like we're in a totally different kind of society there when you're having to sign up with personal details just to get on social media and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Fraser J says, Sam, instead of Javi, would have been already safe. Potentially, mate, but at the time, we probably wouldn't have accepted Big Sam. But yeah, had we have now, with hindsight, yeah, we would have been safe, I think. He did say the club gave him extra security. Maybe that's, I don't know, a few stewards outside his gaff in the football boots. I don't know. But nah, yeah, you'd imagine police would have been ramped up. They might have had patrols in the area and all that sort of stuff. But like with all this sort of stuff, it's all words. No one actually follows through with it. But you just never know, do you? You've got to protect yourself. And Big Sam said, hopefully he goes and scores the winner on Sunday. And how good would that be? As long as he doesn't opt for any penalties, please.
So we don't have the capacity.
He doesn't. He just doesn't have the capacity. He was asked about David Moyes in that European final, obviously the first English team to reach the Europa Conference League final, and David Moyes has done that. And he was asked about it changing his team selection. And he said, look, it's very, very difficult for us to pick one because against Brentford, he made 9 changes. So we're not even going to know really what team he's going to put out until we get the team sheets. But whatever lineup comes out, I expect them to play how he normally does, because obviously different personnel means you can play differently, right? So I don't know if Declan Rice starts, they might have a plan to deal with Declan Rice. But if he doesn't, then they might have to switch it later on. So that's not ideal from him. But I still, for me, I think he will make changes and it'll be weaker, which is good for us, right? But he did say whatever team they put out, they're probably going to say the same way. Just a bit on David Moyes. He said, I'm really pleased for him. He said he was involved with recommending him to Preston when he got that job then, which would have been in the Championship before he went to Everton. And he said, look, we'll have a drink after the game, but hopefully it'll be us that has the 3 points and not him. Again, those that were like, I guess this sort of, like Big Sam was asked, West Ham winning and getting through, is that the best possible result? There was people's going on with this notion that we wanted them to get knocked out and stuff. I just found it mad. But Sam said, yeah, of course we wanted them to win because they now have a final to play in. And subconsciously, it will affect the players. And I was saying that today to Corey. I was saying it on the watch along last night because they won't want to get injured. And Big Sam mentioned that. No 50-50s, etc. They might be more tentative. You know what I mean? If there's a 50-50 ball, are you going to subconsciously, you're like, listen, I'm not diving into this because I don't want to miss that final. You know what I mean? Some of these players won't ever play in a final like that. They have the chance to become club legends, you know. But Big Sam did say it is his job to make the team play the best they can, regardless of the opposition. And I think in the last 2 games we've seen that. I do believe that. He was asked about his experience playing in Europe, because obviously he did take his Bolton side to Europe. And he said, you know, can you use what you know to exploit West Ham? And he mentioned about, you know, them playing Thursday and Sunday, and there's all that sort of like statistical data that says a lot of teams lose games, etc. But he did say then it's all depends on who West Ham play. Are the players that they're going to play, are they fresh? You know, if you look at that Brentford lineup, Lanzini played, Fornell was played, but he came on last night. Will he use Mickey Antonio? Not a chance, because Mickey Antonio looked beat coming off anyway. So you'd imagine it's going to be Danny Ings up top, who's a very good player, but has not had a great time of it at West Ham. You know, there will be changes. Bono might come in at the back, etc. So if these players are fresh, but he said the plan is we've got to stay in the game, right? If you stay in the game for as long as you can, then hopefully the last 20 minutes is when it will tell. We need our first clean sheet. Like you say, Conor McNegative there. Bowen was blowing at the end of the game. Exactly. So he's not going to risk Bowen. He's not going to risk Benrahma. Not for me anyway, but we'll wait and see, right? But, you know, Big Sam kept banging on this drum about needing that first, clean sheet. Big up to my man Carlos. All leads our way. Says keyboard warriors embarrassing. I'm still resigned to us being relegated already, but it is the hope that kills us all, Joe. We'll be here regardless, down or not. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I was thinking about this from a Leeds United perspective. If we do go down, it's still going to be exciting times because we're going to get a new manager. We're going to lose players, but we're also going to bring players in. We're going to get a new director of football. The 49ers won't they take over? So it's not going to be a boring summer. It's not going to be a boring summer for Leeds United, regardless of what division we're in. Trust and believe. And if we do go down, I think we're set up to come straight back up, in my opinion, provided they get the manager right and the sporting director. But I think with the wage reductions, with the player personnel that we can move on, and the parachute payments, and also our commercial exposure far dwarfs the rest of the championship. For me, I think we're going to be cool. So regardless of what happens, like you said, we'll still be there. We'll still be there come rain or shine, sunshine. So yeah, like he said, hopefully the last 20 minutes, that's when it's going to tell for these West Ham players if they're fully fit or not. So he was asked then about injuries. He mentioned that Dallas Adams and Cini are out. He said Cooper's back in training. I think we see Cooper come in alongside Rasmus, and I think Voba plays at left back. I think that's what we'll see. But Big Sam did allude later on to maybe a change in system due to Firpo being out. He also mentioned Rocker had a patella injury. I think that's the foot, if I remember my level 3 in sport and exercise sciences that I did. I think your patella is... your patella's your knee, isn't it? What am I on about? Your patella's your kneecap. He's got an injury anyway, but it didn't sound too. It didn't sound too much of an issue. It wasn't within the Dallas Adams and Cine, camp that was completely out. So then he was asked about Firpo. Obviously, we know Firpo's out. He's going to be suspended. People are telling me it's just one game. That's cool. That's good to know. Patella reflexor is when you top the knee. There you go then, Jack. I think it might have been that, my guy. So Firpo out, who goes in there and he says, look, that's what we're deciding. Didn't go well at college. No, I only did a year, bro. I love that. Firpo, who goes in there? So he said, well, that's what we're chewing over. Do we bring someone in? Do we switch up the system? We're working on that to pick the system to suit the team available and compete against West Ham. So I would like us to go with the same team or the same system. I would just play Vobra at left back. I think he can do a job there. Pascal can as well. As poor as Pascal's been over the last, back end of the season, he can do a job at left back. So yeah, that's good. He was then asked about the social media stuff actually galvanizing the players, because we've seen, Luke Ayling come out and make that comment, thank you everyone, inside the ground kind of vibe, which rubbed people up the wrong way, and I understand why it did. And I heard Graham Smith saying on the Inside Ellen Road podcast, did it really need to be said? It probably didn't. But yeah, he was asked, has that whole situation, Bamford, Ayling, everything, galvanized the players? And he says, look, I do hope so. I do hope it has galvanized them. Then he went on a bit of a eulogy on social media and he said, I fear for our future. He talked about AI. I think he's worried about Skynet, Skynet coming over, and Sarah Connor and Terminator and all that jazz. But he mentioned about AI and he said, look, there's just been 30,000 jobs gone at BT. It's not great for our future. He mentioned climate change, and he said, I worry for my grandkids. You know what I mean? And listen, I've spoke to you folks about this. I say just jokingly to the kids about Hunger Games and all that sort of stuff. This shit's real, man. This shit is real. Like, look at the state of the country that we're in, and it's only going to get worse. It is only going to get worse. So I sort of understand where he's coming from. Social media is life, innit, now? Unfortunately, it's mad, really. Sometimes I wish I could just unplug from it all. You know what I mean? Unplug from it all. But, yeah, you can't. So, the purge. Yeah, Brian, it wouldn't surprise me, bro. It's coming, believe me. Advantage, then. Advantage playing after your rivals. That was the next question. James, if I want to talk about something else, I'll talk about something else. I hate this, when people say you can't talk about this, you can't talk. I'm just telling you my thoughts. Why? I get it. Don't get annoyed here, man. Anyway, advantage playing after your rivals. Now, this question was posed to him about, obviously, the fact that Everton and Forest were playing, right? Before us, but he misinterpreted it. I would have liked to have known what he said on this, but he mentioned about the Europa League game for West Ham. And he mentioned, I just noticed that. Yeah, my Ellen Road, that's dropped down. Cheers, bro. He did mention about them playing Thursday, Sunday, and he mentioned about his time when he was at Bolton, that sort of stuff. So he missed the question, which I'm a little bit disappointed because I never liked him to answer that. But he did mention the amount of changes, though, again. He mentioned the amount of changes again and said that Moyes did like 8 or 9 against Brentford, but he expects less. Which I was like, no, Sam, don't say that. We need a lot. And he says 46 likes away from 200. If you haven't already, please do smash a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're getting so close to that magic number of 20k. We're getting so closer. He was asked about Rutter. We keep talking about Rutter. We don't talk about Gio. And he went, look, next season is his time. That would be the big test for him. Such a heavy price tag. And he said, you need more than ability. You need more than ability to come to the Premier League. That signing, I reckon it's going to end up being a dud. I'm not writing him off, but I just think it's not got off to the best start. What if we go down? We won't sell him. Surely not. They'll try to retain him. He'll be on a big wage reduction, so a lot of these players might want to leave because of that. But yeah, it's mad, isn't it, that we have... Nah, he's not bluffing, man. He's not bluffing. He was playing in the under-21s, man. He's not bluffing. He's... it's just mad that we signed him. To be honest. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I just mean he's not what we needed. He was definitely not what we needed. He was then asked about... you spoke before about outrunning teams. Remember, he spoke about the intensity and he was big on Bielsa and the way we used to run. And then for whatever reason, the predecessors changed that and we became an unfit team. He was then said, is it easy to change that? Is it easy to change someone's fitness and make that change in intensity? And he said, yeah, it's easy. And it is, isn't it? Right? Like, I know this might sound mad, but if you want to get fit, you can get fit. You can go to the gym every day, and within a week, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks, you do see results. When I did that couch to 10K, little increment gains, you see results. So without with doing all this, more exertion, I guess, and more fitness work and more stamina work in training, these are professional footballers. It quickly turns round. So he was asked, about making that change in intensity and if it was easy to do. Nedge Primate says, Barnsley and Wednesday final, Yorkshire. Yeah, good times, mate. Chef Wednesday last night, man. Wow, fair play. And at least that gets rid of the whole derby playoff thing because that dwarfs it. Fair play to Chef Wednesday. So he said, yeah, it's easy. It's mindset. It's all about mindset when you run with this stuff. And then he said to Graham Smith, if I point a gun at you, you'll run the fastest, right? You've ever ran before, or you might freeze and you might get shot. And again, I think that comes back to mentality, right? Who's putting it in, who's there for the fight, etc. But he's right in what he's saying. I think it is easy to change the way. Like if you got to the gym on your own, you do, for me, less than what you would do if you went with a personal trainer. Do you know what I mean? Or someone there to push you. And that's what it's about, right? It is easy to make them changes in your lifestyle, in your mindset, in... especially when it comes to exercise, you just got to do it, right? I know that's easier said than done, but you get what you get what I'm getting at, right? He did. He was then asked, like, Saturday, if results don't go your way, then what? Then what happens? And Baron Cross mentioned about it being, do or die. And he did say, yeah, you bang on the money. He said, do or die, fight to the end, but with the right temperament. We must have control. Don't lose the game plan. Speaking about game management there, that has improved since he's come in. We have seen improvements in game management. And he says, and then when we get to the latter stages is when we decide whether we apply, more or less risk. And for example, if we get to the latter stages of this game and we're chasing it and it's the last 20 minutes and it's still 0-0, Leeds United will go for it because they've just come off the European tie. We need 3 points. Let's go for it. Alternatively, if it's 1 or 2, 1-0, 2-0, he'll say, right, okay, at this moment in time, we're going to apply less risk. Last 20 minute game, sit deep, defend. Get the points we need, Yeah, I like it about him as well, bro. I like his honesty. Just answers it forthright, doesn't he? So for sure, is he good to play? He says it. why, because obviously Forshaw came on and played really, really well against Newcastle. Gives us an added dimension, looks to protect the ball better in possession, press resistant, etc. Right? Yeah, it's bad that we're still having to rely on a half-broken Forshaw, but that's down to Victor Order and the squad building. But he was asked about him being able to play, and he says it's his body. He has to be handled with care. But he'll be a vital part on Sunday. He did mention this, and he said hopefully he can stay on the pitch for as long as possible. So I think he's going to start, and hopefully we'll get 70, 80 minutes out of him. I'd love to get all 90, but whether or not he's fit enough, we'll see. He was asked about addressing them errors last week. Is it showing? How do you address them errors, basically? How do you address the errors that happened last week, i.e. missing the penalty, i.e. conceding the penalties? Is it about showing them, or is it about mindset? And he spoke about the Firpo one, and he put it down into granular detail about how Firpo positioned his body on the pen. And he said, we're talking about fine margins, we're talking about inches, because his arm's like this. If he moves it like that, it doesn't connect with the ball, etc. Yeah. So it is all like fine margins. And it's like, for me, I think if Firpo doesn't slip on the first penalty, then Wilber doesn't dive in. It's them. Do you know what I mean? It's them things. But he said, we have to stay on our feet. We have to stay on our fight. We can't go to ground. Don't give them the opportunity. We conceded a penalty against City. We conceded 2 against Newcastle. We're our own worst enemy, And he said, if they cut you open, and I think this is what we can say as fans, right? If a team like City cut you open with the De Bruyne pass to Haaland and it's an unreal goal, you have to hold your hands up and say, okay, that's unavoidable. Okay? But when you're at fault, it's not good. And he's saying that the goals that we conceded were so avoidable, which they were, right? And he said, look, he gives his centre-backs a lot of hard time because Big Sam was a centre-back. And he said it's all about defending. And then he mentioned about all this playing out from the back is bollocks. That's what he said, which was quite funny because we know that he's not about that life. And I think that's why, Rasmus is playing better and the best we've seen him at Leeds at centre-back under Big Sam. Because Rasmus is quite limited footballing-wise, but he's not being asked to be a footballer. Does that make sense? So I can understand why he's looking to have improved. And then he mentioned about them. Someone asked him the question about the players actually being taught that. Like, do they understand that? Not going down in the box and all that sort of stuff. And he said, look, it's just pressure. It's pressure. We all make mistakes. Quite nice. I'd imagine he's saying that to the lads. Yes, he's angry, but then he puts his arm around them the next day. Do you know what I mean? And saying, look, it's pressure is all. We all make mistakes. And he did mention about centre-backs living on the edge at the time because mistakes cost you, just like a goalkeeper. You can make a mistake up front. You can try get the next one midfield. We spoke about it on the debrief, me, Brownie, and that saying how like the striker and the goalkeeper and those at the back, if you make an error at the back 9 times out of 10, they're going to score from it, especially in the Premier League. He was asked about the enormity of these 2 big games. Obviously, we've got Hammers who's just played in Europe, and Spurs having their season done. Can you take advantages of that? And he said, look, we're aware of West Ham, what they might be. Yes. We're aware of the dangers they can possess. But he did say systems mean nothing if the players don't play their best, and he said, we have to test West Ham, see where they're at, maybe first 20 minutes or at the end. And I think this is what Corey said as well. And he's known Big Sam, having been West Ham manager for a period of time. And he mentioned a game against Chelsea, but he did say that he expects them to come out in the first 20 minutes. And I think that's what we might see. In the first 20 minutes, it's Leeds United go for them. Because it's at that moment that Leeds United can show up, try get in front and say, listen, we're here. Some of them West Ham players will be leggy from Thursday. Some of them will have heads elsewhere because they've qualified for a European final. And I think that's when he will pull the trigger, like early doors. He'll pull the trigger early doors and we'll want to get in front. And then I think he'll try and defend what he's got. I genuinely think the first 20 minutes we see a Leeds United goal, and then hopefully, we can defend, because they will be napping. I don't care what anyone says. They're not up for this. Their heads elsewhere. Some of them will be rough. Like what you've got to mention as well. Like, it's Friday night, yeah. When would they have got back from AZ? Early hours of the morning. Rest and recuperation day today, and then they've only got Saturday, and then it's game day. So I just don't think, even those that say, "Oh, the final's the 7th of June, it's ages away," but look at the turnaround from Sunday. Leeds United have had a full week of preparation under Big Sam to prepare for this game. We have so much riding on this game. West Ham do not. A lot of these players will not want to play in this game. So I think everything that, if we don't win this game, then we don't deserve to stay up. Nothing to play for. And yeah, trust me, I think we win tomorrow. I say it loud and proud now. Leeds United win this game 2-0. 2-0, take it to the final day. And then, yeah, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. See what happens, isn't it? We've been here before. But Michael said we should be all over them from the off. Yes, we should. Yes, we should. And hopefully we will. Hopefully we will, for sure. Yeah. Just bear with us 1 sec. I just want to quickly do something for someone. Okay, so this is just before I finish up. I'll tell you what, I'll finish off and then we'll do this. So what are you seeing in the players now then? I think this was Phil here to round off, said, like, what are you seeing in the players now? And he said, look, the confidence has grown. The application applied is what I've put. But yeah, they're showing application. He did say possession needs to be better. Because if you remember when he first come in, he mentioned that we were decent in possession, and we all know we're like, I don't think you've actually watched us that much, have you, Sam? And he did say we're too hyper in possession. Jesse, he says when we get the ball, we're just like like kids in a playground, right? That's thanks to Jesse. And he said we need to be calmer on the ball and retain possession better, and that's why we need Forshaw in there as well for me. So he said when we do win it back, we then need to be better in possession. We need not to be too hyper. We need to be calmer on the ball. And we all knew that, right? Because Jesse had this thing where you had to get to goal within 10 seconds or something like that. And he was just rubbish, and he's a rubbish manager. So, yeah. Right. So I just want to quickly share this as well. So this is a very good friend of mine who is a Leeds United season ticket holder. He's a really good friend of mine, Lee Farrer. Okay. And yeah, many times he would grief me for rating Cooper, for rating Bamford. But yeah, a lot of good seasons spent with Lee in the Cop at Ellen Road. And this is the thing, when you're at like games and you sit in the same seat season after season, you meet people, right? You become friends with these people because you see them all the time. And Lee has got motor neurons disease, and he's fundraising for that. So basically, he's doing free challenges because he lives with MND daily, as 5,000 other people do and their families. So he's got 10K to do on the 1st of August, a half marathon on the 2nd of November, and he's doing the Rob Burrows Marathon in 2024. So yeah, they were all funds raised will go to the West Yorkshire branch of the MND association. So yeah, he's been putting a lot of work in. I've been seeing a lot of videos. Here he is here, Lee Farrer, this guy here, top guy. So if you could, as I say, it'd be great if you can support that great cause, right? So I'm going to put the link to his Just Giving page here. So if you can give anything, that would be totally great if you could do that for me. Listen, I want you to smash a like on the video. I want you to show some support for Lee on his journey. And I also want you to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, back 3:15, because of course Wolves play Everton, which is massive. Then Nottingham Forest play Arsenal, which is even bigger. And then on the evening, another episode of Late Night Leeds will be previewing the game against West Ham. So thanks as always for watching. Peace and love to each and every one of you, and I will see you on the other side. Big up. And also, I just want to shout out the young lad there who I forgot. Sorry, mate, I got sidetracked. But John says, "Yo, Joe, I think we have got this, mate. You used to travel to the games with me and my dad on the Darlow Whites bus. I think 3-1, bud. Big up to you as well, mate. I hope you're doing well, and I hope your dad's doing well. Big up the Darlow Whites. Listen, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments, and then, of course, hit that notification button. And I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you check out Lee's page. Make sure you support him, okay? Love to you all. Peace out now.
Don't go anywhere.